slow match is the hemp rope that we boiled in water, lye, and gunpowder. Burns hot, burns slow, kind of hard to put out, and very easy to light again. So is this going to be important?
Sounds important.
Yeah, if we don't have this, this doesn't work, right? Now, when we talk about the lock, we're talking of the moving parts that deliver that ember to the gunpowder, and that's going to include our trigger, and basically that's called the sear bar. It's a holdover from the crossbow. The serpentine, which is basically a clamp to hold the match in place. The lock plate holds the moving parts. In the case of this weapon, we have one moving part, and that one moving part is connecting the trigger to the serpentine and one spring, and that allows us to pull the trigger and kick it back. It's that simple. This weapon will even work if it's broken. It doesn't take much to push a hot coal of, or a hot ember into that pan of gunpowder. But you put all that together with a little bit of gunpowder. There's the powder in the pan, the match sitting in the serpentine, and there you go. There's an ignition system. And as you can see, when we pull the trigger, see how that moves that burning cord? So when you open the pan and you pull the trigger, that's the ignition. So if that doesn't happen, we've got a small problem, right? Now what we do have here is a very simple, very reliable military firearm. I mean, keep in mind that while today this might look quite primitive, 400 years ago, this is the height of military technology. And without this, nothing else comes after it. So you've got to have this first. For 400 years later, we get to the M16, right? And with this weapon, what you have really is a weapon that is simple to operate. Keep in mind that militarily, weapons like swords, halberds, pikes, the bow and arrow, these take years to learn. With a weapon like this, we could train somebody who's never handled a weapon in their entire life in a matter of a short period of time, in a few weeks. And they should become proficient enough to load and fire about 2 to 3 aim shots in a minute. And they should be able to strike a target at 100 yards. And we all know how far that is, right? About the length of a football field. Or from where I'm standing, about the distance to the back gate there. And as you look at that gentleman walk into the back gate, there's your target at 100 yards. 3 feet wide, 6 feet tall. Well, it wouldn't be very nice to do that, would it? At that distance, they're expecting you to strike a man-sized target. And everybody will always ask, well, how accurate is the weapon? Let me ask you, does this have to be accurate to be effective? No. Well, we don't have to aim at the chin and hit you in the chin, or aim at the heart and hit you in the heart. We can aim at the chin and miss by 3 feet and hit you in the hip. Is that going to hurt? Yeah. See, a weapon like this causes an incredible amount of damage, and that's what makes it effective. It's simplicity in the damage it causes. And that's important because here in Virginia, against the Palatins, their best weapon is a stone-tipped arrow. And that Palatin handles that bow beginning about the age of 6, but by the time he's an adult, should be able to fire about 12 arrows in a minute. The English shells are very consistent at striking small targets, and the effective range on that arrow is about 40 yards. That arrow, on the other hand, has to be accurate to be effective. It has to strike something vital. It's not like the musket, which can do an incredible amount of damage. It has to strike something vital. And the Palatins, on the other hand, have nothing to protect themselves from this musket. The English have armor to protect themselves from that arrow. And so that armor technology is certainly going to be very important here, along with the musket being simple to use. So, technology, right? What we're going to do real quick is I'm going to show you how this is loaded. That soldier would be taught about 43 steps to load the piece. The steps are all broken down, and what we're doing is making him familiar with it. We don't want him in battle to get into how do I handle this, so we want him to do it by second nature. So the first thing we're going to do in loading this piece is make sure there's no live embers in the pan. Then we'll put gunpowder into the pan and close the pan cover to protect it. Cast off and blow off any of that extra gunpowder because, well, you've got that burning cord there. You don't want any hot ember to land on that gunpowder. Cast it off into the side, and down the barrel is going to go some more gunpowder. That comes from our bandolier. Each of these wooden bottles holding that pre-measured charge, you pop that open and pour it in. It also is another one of our drawbacks, because what's this belt full of? What are we holding here? So what I'm going to use real quick to put the gunpowder in is a paper cartridge. It's not something that they were using. Remember, they're using the bandolier, but for us today, it protects our gunpowder. Now once the gunpowder goes in, the shot goes in as well. We're going to leave that out though. You draw your scouring stick and you ram it down. Yeah, they really don't like when I put holes in the football. Once you ram the shot down, the weapon's loaded. You ready to fire? Yeah, put the match, yeah. So we take up one end, blow the ember off, set the match into the serpentine and try it. And there we go. There's your musket loaded and ready to fire. So the command to fire is present your piece, give fire. You don't like loud noises, cover your ears, and if you want to take a picture, snap the moment after I say fire. You have the gun going. Everybody ready? Present your piece, give fire! Man.